Okay, so this is for Lab Exercise 3, Activity 1, and it's Introduction to Organs and Organ Systems. So there's a list here of major organs you are to be able to identify. So I'm going to go over them for you very quickly. So starting at the top is the brain. Obviously, we would find the brain up in the cranial cavity, and there's a little half brain that I found and just tucked in there right now. So here is the brain right here. Now, the spinal cord comes off the brain, and it would be right here in the spinal cavity. And remember, the spinal cavity and cranial cavity together make the dorsal cavity. We don't actually have a spinal cord here, but that is where it would go. All right, let's move down to the ventral cavity, and we're going to start in the thoracic half, which is the top. And you see that we have two organs here. These are the lungs, and we do our rights and lefts from the patient's point of view. So this is the right lung, and this is the left lung, and they would each be in their own pleural cavity. Now, between the lungs here, I have the heart, so I'm going to go ahead and take the lung off. This is just a piece of a lung on that side, and this one has the whole lung. Hold on. All right, and don't worry, these models are going to fall apart when you work with them. It's fine. That's why they're kind of rubbery. Okay, so you can see here is the heart. So the heart's part of the cardiovascular system. The lungs are part of the respiratory system. All right, we're going to go ahead and remove the heart. I want you to be able to see the tubes that lead to the lungs. So this blue tube here is called the trachea. And notice it's got rings on it. That's what holds it open so it doesn't collapse. And the trachea goes from here, okay, right here in the throat, and comes down, and then it's going to split into what we call the bronchi. It's going to go to each of the lungs. So this is the trachea, this blue structure here. Notice there's another tube behind it. It's kind of a light green color on the model. It starts up here at the mouth. They don't continue the color, and it's kind of squeezed in here between the trachea and the spine, and that is called the esophagus. The esophagus is the tube that is going to deliver food that is being eaten down to the stomach. So it continues past where the trachea ends and goes down, goes through the diaphragm, and then connects down here to the stomach. Now let's go to the abdominal cavity. This is the liver. It's one of your digestive organs. And if we take the liver out, it's very large. And if we flip it upside down, you can see here that attached to the bottom of the liver is a green little bag. This is your gallbladder, also part of the digestive system. Go back up here. Now we can see the full stomach, also part of the digestive system. And then behind the stomach, you can see this light green part of the model here with a white line through the middle of it. This is called the pancreas. This is going to also be a digestive organ. All right, looking down lower, we have this long, thin diameter tube. This is called your small intestine. And then we have this large, thick diameter tube that's represented in gray that wraps around and then goes down, and that is called your large intestine. Now, right where the two meet, let me take off this piece of the large intestine. Let me take off the small intestine. And right here is where they would meet. Here's the last part of the small intestine. Here's the beginning of the large intestine. And notice there's this little green worm-like structure here. The official name of this is the vermiform appendix, which means the worm-like appendix. So that's what we would call your appendix. Okay, now we can also see another big view here of the pancreas up here. All right, now I'm going to remove this piece. We're going to look at some of the organs that are in the back. Now, these are going to be behind the peritoneal membrane, so they're retroperitoneal. So this is a kidney, part of the urinary system. There would be another kidney here. This model has it removed. And then above each kidney is this pyramidal shape of fat. Looks like fat, but actually what it is, those are the adrenal glands. So you have one adrenal gland above each of your two kidneys. And then from the kidneys, we have ureters, and the ureters lead down to this structure right here, which is your urinary bladder.